We've done 2 mods so far, and now we're getting ready to do the next. Could you guess what it is? I put out into the couple of groups that I belong to on Facebook, which do they think I should do? Skid plates or a bumper and winch? Well, the majority of them picked a bumper and a winch. So I am going to pair up the rock hard 4x4 bumper with the Badlands Apex 1200 pound winch. Let's get started. First things first, let's unbox the winch, lay it out on the table, and see what comes with it. Excuse the mess behind me, but my garage is used every day. Directions, stickers. Who doesn't love stickers? I think every company is including stickers one way or another. Fairlead. Nice, beefy. It's got some weight to it. Remote. This winch could go wired or wireless, which I do like. Nice hefty hook. Controller cable. Battery cables. Don't know what that is. Another bracket, probably to relocate some stuff. This is one thing I do like. They do include a kill switch. If you want to put this in between the winch and the battery itself on the hot, this way you could completely shut off the power to the winch and you don't always have power going to it. That is a feature I like. Bunch of hardware, some rubber boots for the wiring, and then of course the actual winch. I don't know how I'm going to get this out of here. Hoo! Here we go. They also include cover, it seems. I think it's a cover. Could be wrong. Let's see what this is. No, this is for the rope. Put it on the rope to protect the rope when it's going over rocks or dirt, gravel, whatever it might be, so you don't fray the rope. So that's good. So again, this is the Apex Badlands. Now we'll unbox the bumper. So I'm sorry if my back is towards you guys for a couple of times, but I don't have that much space in here. So let's unbox this and see what's inside. Nice. I think this is the hardware kit. Really packaged nice. Again, this is the rock hard 4x4 aluminum bumper. I did want to save some weight because between the lift and the side steps, I've added a lot of weight so far. This bumper, being aluminum, is only 37 pounds. I also plan on doing some Under Armour, which is eventually going to add some more weight. So I did want to save a little bit of weight, at least where I could, on the bumper. This is the same bumper that they have on Dauntless, which is pretty much where I found out about this bumper. So thank you guys for mentioning that. and giving me the idea to go with this bumper. If you want to check out the Dauntless build, check out YouTube, Hourless Life. They have a nice Jeep. They're traveling around the world right now. So let's get started on taking off the old bumper and getting started on this mod. So, Rock Hard 4x4 does have a YouTube video on how to install this bumper. I did watch that, I'll say, several times, but it doesn't seem too hard, so check out their actual install video and it'll guide you on what you need to get done. There are a couple of different models, but basically I think you start them all off by removing this first piece here. And they said you're not going to use this again, so I'm not going to worry about it too much, but I am going to save these little plastic clips because they break all the time. Alright, and finally the last clip comes out. And this is the first piece removed. Now that the upper plastic piece is removed, we're going to start removing the air dam. This one is steel, 13mm bolts. As you can see, I put cardboard down so I don't get filthy. But let's remove this. And just like that, the air dam is removed. So next we have 8 bolts, 4 on the outside, 2 on the inside. These are going to be 18mm deep sockets. You can't use shallow. So let's get started on that. I've loosened it, what I think is quite a bit. If this doesn't work, it's time to pull out the air tools. Yep, time to pull out the air tools. So I broke out the air tools. Not that it's hard to get this off, because it's really not. It's just a matter of speed. I don't want to spend all day doing this. So we're going to use the air tools, and hopefully this will come out no problem. Now that we got the 8 bolts off, again, I could have done it with the regular ratchet handset, but I don't want to spend all day doing this. I do have the air tools, so I used it. I just needed a lot more pressure. Anyway, before I pull this off now, there is a clip on the passenger side for the fog lights. You have to undo that clip, and then we can pull the bumper straight off. So give me a second and I'll set the camera up over here so you can see exactly what we're talking about. So right now we're on the passenger side of the front bumper, and this is the clip that you have to undo that hooks up the fog lights. Once we undo this clip, then we could just remove the bumper. You have to press on this part and pull this part. Now usually what I do is I'll grab a stubby screwdriver without any tips and press right there. Gives me a little bit better leverage to press inside, wiggle the harness, and pull it out. Right here. Now we could remove the bumper. Now that we got the wiring harness removed on the passenger side, grab your hooks and remove your bumper. Apparently you may have to wiggle it a little bit, like the song says from the 80s. Just like that. So now I have the stock bumper, and we have to take off these 2 end covers, cut the tie wraps or zip ties that are holding the wiring harness in and remove that so that we can install it on the new bumper. There's the first fog light. Let's do the second one. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you get a better view. Just like that, you have the second fog light ready to get deinstalled. So now we're going to remove the fog lights and we'll start getting ready with the wire harness. Again, I'm just using this for speed. I don't have all day to do this. This is a 6mm, I'm sorry, 7mm, which I was very surprised at. Normally everything is 10 or 13. We got these 4 out. All right. Again, we're going to press this clip and remove it. And just so you know, these are the LEDs. So there is going to be a right side up, which is the vented side, which is this side. I believe is the side that goes up. I'll double check that. Next, we're going to work on the harness and start taking that all out so that we could reuse it on the other bumper. I'm not going to cut this clip yet, just in case we do need to use that. All right. So it looks like I'm going to have to take a couple of things out just to get that whole wiring harness out. I'll figure this out and get back to you in just a little bit. So let's finish the driver's side fog light, and then I'll see how to get the harness out. And this is the driver's side, so this is the side that was facing up. So remember, if you have the LEDs, you want that side to face up so that it can disperse the heat properly. Now I'll see about removing this inner metal frame to get this harness out. So this inner metal frame is 13mm, which is typical. So we're going to pop that out and then see if that helps us access the rest of this harness, which I believe it will. Let's see if this pulls it out. Yes, sir. And just like that, this inside metal frame is out of the bumper. And we still don't have complete access to the wiring harness because it goes underneath here and through. So let's figure out what has to come out next. Take it from there. It looks like there are a bunch of those little 7mm screws holding in this plastic piece that we're going to have to remove in order to get the access to the harness. So, Rock Hard 4x4 did mention that there are a bunch of variations that they've come across, so this is probably just another one. Samson is a 2021 JT Gladiator Rubicon edition with the plastic front bumper. So let's get started on removing this stuff. There is a little molded cup in here. I'm going to leave all the screws right in there. There are a bunch more of those screws in the front. I'm hoping I don't need to take them off. So, the hooks come right out. That's nice and easy. Okay, I'm going to take these out. Make it that much easier. Why fight? And just like that, you have full access to your harness. Let's go ahead and take this all out. And just like that, I got rid of all the junk on the table. So now the harness is right here. It's accessible. Again, I'm leaving those little Christmas trees in until I verify that I don't need them. Then I will cut them off. But I'd rather have them available if I do need them. And just like that, Bob's your uncle, and the wiring harness is disconnected. Now let's get the new bumper up here, and we will try to reinstall the wiring harness onto that. So now I have the bumper somewhat secured on the table. I have the wiring harness right here. Remember, this is on the passenger side, the harness to get hooked up back to the Jeep. Driver's side, passenger side, it's just face down right now. I'm going to zoom in on the fog light and we'll see how that gets connected. So I've zoomed in on the driver's side. I have the bumper relatively secured. Again, LEDs, so we're going to make sure this side is facing up for heat dispersion. And we're going to try to dry fit this and see if there's any adjustments or special brackets that we need to use that they sent us. And it looks like everything lines up. So I'm going to take some of their galvanized self-tappers and screw it in here, and then we'll worry about the harness. And I'm just approaching it with this. I do not want to snap anything or break anything. I didn't have any grinding at all. Everything fit perfectly. I like it when that happens. It's not so common for that to happen, but in this case it did. Let's do the other side. Passenger side. Again, the air fins are facing up. And again, please, yes, everything lines up perfectly. So now I'm just gonna hand tighten everything. Make sure it is secured without worrying about breaking it. So once I finish with the wiring harness for the two fog lights, I just left it loose. I'll tie wrap it and zip tie it where I need to a little bit later on. The bumper pretty much just sitting right on the frame rails. So Rock Hard 4x4 did provide different size spacers that go between the back of the bumper and the actual frame rails. Watch their video for a lot more direction and instruction. I'm just going to continue installing the bumper, and I'll get back to you in a little bit. So I dry fit the bumper on. I pretty much got all 8 bolts started. The nylon nuts are on there. I've pulled the bumper all the way out. I've installed the fair lead. I'm going to dry fit the winch right now, see if it fits, and keep going from there. Wish me luck. That fits nice. That fits real nice. So now I'm going to see what I can reach, what I can't reach, tighten up the bumper, approach the winch, see if I get that started. We'll take it from there. One thing I definitely want to do, let me just cut this real quick, see how far back the bumper goes, because Rock Hard 4x4 did include some spacers. However, if I need to, I can use all the spacers, the long ones and the short ones, they said, to pull it out just a little bit more. You know what? I think I may want to do that because right here, this is tight up against the grill. Don't really like the way that's sitting. So if I add the smaller spaces, it'll pull it out another about 1/2 inch, which to me looks like it's going to be a lot better. So I am going to pull this off. I'm going to add those extra spacers, and then I'll get started. Just so you do know, when you are ready to do this, make sure you have the square washers in the bottom of the winch already. I almost forgot. Wasn't sure if I was going to be taking this out again, but I put them in. So make sure you do that. All right. Now, let's get those extra spacers, and we'll do that one more time. So it's been a little while, a couple of hours. Anyway, the Badlands provides 1 inch, or actually 1.25 inch bolts. These are not long enough with this particular bumper. The rock hard 4x4 bumper, the aluminum version, they also give you these long 1/4 inch thick plates, making it a 1/2 inch of total material. And because of that, the 1.25 inch are not long enough, so I had to go to the local Ace, get some 1.5 inch stainless, because these are galvanized and they didn't have galvanized. But I did get the stainless. I did put some anti-seize on them, torqued them down. I was trying for about a 1/2 hour trying to get these bolts. Finally, I took the whole thing out again, put it on a table, measured everything, and then realized these are not long enough. So rather than spend any more time in there for an impossible task, I just went and got longer bolts. I got this in there, got it torqued down. I did add the 1/2 inch spacers along with the longer spaces. I think are 3/4, maybe 1 inch already. So I have both sets of spacers in here. Pulling the bumper out, I needed it for the depth of this particular winch. Got everything here torqued down. Ran the wires through one of the brackets on the frame over here. I tie wrapped it and came out underneath the box for the battery. I'm going to get you a little closer view in 1 second, and we'll continue from there. So here we are on the passenger side of the bumper. I still have to connect the harness for the fog lights. That goes right over here. I'll do that in a couple of minutes. But I ran the hot and neutral cable right underneath that mount. Then I brought it up inside, tie wrapped it, came straight around, and then I went up inside the box for the battery holder. Obviously, you got to take down your inner liner to get all of that done. So now it's time to hook up the battery. First things first, I loosened this cover, or took this felt cover apart, just so I could access everything a little bit easier. All right. First, we're going to do the positive. Basically, what I've decided to do is not hook up that disconnect switch. I'm going to hook that up at a later time. I could not figure out for the life of me where I want to put it, what type of bracket I'm going to need. So we'll figure that out at a later time. For now, I'm going to bring this around underneath the other cables. 2 specialty tools. I could probably just use needle nose, the other specialty tool, so I could see what I'm doing. All right. Now, I'm not cutting this at all because obviously I am going to hook up that disconnect switch, just not at the moment. So For now, I'm going to bring it around this way. Of course, the winch is in the off position while I'm hooking all of this up. This is all tight. It's all good. I'm going to grab the camera, give you guys a close-up look at everything, and then we'll button it up. Just going to give you a close-up look. The wires are coming in right from the bottom of the battery box. The positive I wrap around and come right over here. The negative, I come back on this side underneath and come back and I land on that one. It's not the prettiest right now, but it's done. I still have to undo all of this and redo it anyway when I put in that disconnect switch. But for now, it'll work. I have Jeep Jamboree coming up in about 2 weeks in Arizona. So that was my priority, getting the bumper and winch installed. So here's the final product. Let me know what you think. Again, this is the rock hard 4x4 aluminum bumper, only 37 pounds. I have the Badlands Apex 12,000 pound winch, and we hooked that all up. So this took a better part of a day to do it by myself, but it's done. I'll put the hook on, I'll unwind the whole thing, pull it in, retighten everything. I still have to do the harness for the fog lights. If you see it hanging up underneath here, I still haven't done that. So I'll get all of that stuff done, and hopefully everything will work out fine.